Welcome friends to MKD Education. In the last class we have discussed about graphical representation of various forces, the different methods to find the resultant of these forces by using the graphical method, and also we have discussed about moment. In this class we will discuss the graphical representation of moment and a very important theorem which is known as Varignon's theorem, and also we will see the derivation of Varignon's theorem, and we will also see what are the different types of forces that are being applied on a body. So first of all, let us discuss how a moment is represented graphically. Let us see. First we will learn that the moment of a force can also be determined geometrically. So that is what I am telling you, that we will first see the graphical representation of a moment. Then we will go to the Varignon's theorem. So by using this concept, that means by the graphical method of representing a moment, we will prove Varignon's theorem. So the Varignon's theorem is very important, and which the output of Varignon's theorem is that it will give the moment of a resultant force by using the moment of the corresponding forces. And also we will learn in this class the system of parallel forces and how it is applied on a body and what are the different types of parallel forces, and also the resultant of parallel forces and how the resultant of these parallel forces can be found by Varignon's theorem. So at the end of the class you will be able to understand the geographical meaning or the geographical representation of moment and its application to Varignon's theorem, as well as you will be able to learn how to prove Varignon's theorem and apply it in numerical problems. So let us see first how a moment is represented graphically. That is very important concept. So the moment of a force about any point is equal to twice the area of the triangle whose base is the line to some scale representing the force and whose vertex is the point about which the moment is to be taken. Now this thing I am going to explain you in the whiteboard. So let us take a force P to a scale. So scale means what? So scale means it is a easy way to represent a bigger thing in a small area. So for example, if P is a force, for example if I take P is equal to 100 Newton, so I will take what? 10 Newton equal to 1 centimeter. So this will be my scale, that is called reducing scale. So I have reduced the value of 100 Newton into 10 centimeter. So now a force is represented by a line P. So here it is written that the moment of force about any point is equal to twice the area of the triangle whose base is the line to some scale. Now the base, this is the base which represents the force and whose vertex is the point about which the moment is taken. So I have drawn only the force, so let me take a vertex. Let this will be a vertex O. Now I will join the vertex and complete the triangle. Now what I have to do? I have to find the moment of this force P about this point O. Now let me first name the triangle AB. Now according to the geometrical representation of moment, the moment of force P about point O, so I am representing here as MPO, moment of force P about point O is equal to 2 times the area of the triangle AOB. Now this is a very important thing to understand, why this is 2 into AOB. Now in many of the books this concept is not given properly. So first let us try to understand why it is twice of area AOB. Now let us draw a line like this. So this completes a parallelogram. This is completing a this total figure is a parallelogram. So ABO, let a point be D. Now as we know that the area of a parallelogram is equal to base into its height. Now if this is a parallelogram, this is the base, P is the base, and this is the height. This is the height of the triangle AOB. But you can see that this triangle will be equal to this triangle. Why? Because in parallelogram this P will be equal to this here, and this one will be equal to this side. So the total moment will be equal to twice the area of triangle AOB. So if this is the area of AOB, then this will be also another AOB. So it is twice the area of AOB. Now let us understand the Varignon's theorem. So as I have told you that the proof of Varignon's theorem is very important. So as we have discussed in the previous article, that the statement of Varignon's theorem, which tells that if about a point we find the moment of two different forces or more than two different forces. So in this case we have taken only two different forces. So here we have taken force P and force Q, and whose moment is required to be found about point O. So the Varignon's theorem tells that the moment of this force P about the point O plus the moment of the force Q about this point O will be equal to the moment of the resultant, that is R, about the same point O. This is what the Varignon's theorem states. And in the previous section or in the previous article we have studied that the moment of a force is equal to twice the area covered by a triangle. So you can see that in case of the force P, we will take triangle A, B and O. So the moment of force P about point O will be equal to twice of area of triangle AOB. So that is moment of P about O will be equal to twice into area of triangle AOB. Similarly, the moment of force Q about the point O will be equal to twice the area of this triangle AOC. So let us write it again. So moment of Q about O will be equal to 2 times the area of triangle AOC. So we have got the moment of these two forces. Now it is the time for the resultant. Now the resultant makes the triangle AOD. So the moment of this resultant R will be twice the area of this triangle AOD. So we can write it like that also. So moment of R about O will be equal to 2 times the area of triangle AOD. Now, according to Varignon's theorem, moment of P plus moment of Q about the point O will be equal to moment of their resultant are about the same point O. So this is the thing that is to be proved here. So from the geometry of the figure we see that area of the triangle AOD will be equal to area of triangle AOC plus area of triangle CAD. That means, again I am repeating, area of triangle OAD will be equal to area of triangle OAC plus CAD. So we can write that area of triangle AOC will be equal to, now we know that area of triangle AOD is equal to area of triangle AOC plus area of triangle ACD. So see in the figure that area of triangle AOD will be equal to area of triangle AOC plus CAD. But we see that area of triangle ACD is equal to area of triangle ADB, which is equal to area of triangle AOB. Why they are similar? Because they are between the two parallel lines, that is such that their base is same. That's why the area of ADB will be equal to the area of ACD, which will be equal to area of triangle AOB. So let us see that area of triangle ACD is equal to area of triangle ABD, which is equal to area of triangle AOB. Now we can see that area twice of area AOD. So AOD, it represents the moment of resultant R. So we can see that twice of area of triangle AOD is equal to twice of area of triangle AOC plus twice the area of triangle AOB. So as previously we have studied that the moment is given by twice the area of the triangle. So this one becomes moment of resultant R is equal to twice of area AOC. AOC becomes moment of Q. So moment of force Q plus area AOB. AOB, it becomes moment of P. Now hence the theorem is being proved here. So let us see again what is Varignon's theorem. So it states that if a number of coplanar forces are acting simultaneously and on a particle, then the algebraic sum of the moments of all the forces about any point is equal to the moment of their resultant force about the same point. And this thing we have proved here. So in the next we will see about parallel forces. So first of all we should know what is parallel force. So the forces whose line of action are parallel to each other are called parallel forces. Now let us understand what are parallel forces. So see, the parallel forces are represented by two parallel lines. So I have written here two forces P and Q whose line of action are parallel, and these forces are known as parallel forces. So these parallel forces are divided into two types. One is called like parallel force and the other one is called unlike parallel force. So like parallel force means what? The line of action is in same direction, and unlike parallel forces means what? The line of action is in opposite direction. So let us understand what are like parallel forces and what are unlike parallel forces. So parallel forces are divided into two types. One is called like parallel force and the other one is called unlike parallel force. So like parallel forces are represented by two parallel lines representing two forces whose direction are same, and unlike parallel forces are represented by two lines having the value of forces but their direction is opposite. Now we will go to the next article, that is how to find the resultant of two like parallel forces. So let us understand it with the help of a diagram. Now this is a diagram where I have represented two like parallel forces. Like parallel forces means their action is in the same direction and they are parallel. So the forces are P and Q. It is acting on a line AB. So what I have done here, I have taken two equal forces F and F, which are acting in the line AB, such that these two values F and F, they cancel out each other. Now if I look at the point A and B separately, now at point A there are two forces P and F. So the resultant of these two forces will be R1. So when this R1, now this R1 we got by applying parallelogram law of forces. So when this R1 is extended and meet at point O. Similarly here we have Q and F whose resultant is R2, and when it is extended it meet at a point O. Now we see from this figure that here the line it represents R2, and this line, this dotted line, it represents R1. Now if we resolve these two forces R1 and R2 horizontally, we get what? We get F here. Again we get F here, which cancel out each other. So the remaining portion, that means the vertical component and of R1 and R2 will represent the force P and Q. So the horizontal component, the vertical component of R1 will represent the force P, and the vertical component of R2 will represent the force Q. Now the direction of both these forces will be vertically upward. So here we can see that the resultant of these two forces will nothing but P plus Q, and it will act at a point where C, which is somewhere in between A and B. Now one more important thing that we will discuss is that how to find the position of this point C. Now finding the position of this point is very important, because this comes directly in problems and it is also used in practical application. Now see how we will find the position C. Now we will find it by using the Varignon's theorem. Now if we want to find the moment about point C, so what we will do? There are three forces, P, Q and P plus Q, or the resultant R. So here at point A the moment will be P into AC plus the moment of Q about point C will be Q into BC. So which will be equal to the moment of the resultant R about point C. So it will be R into point C. So what is the distance between point C and point C? It is 0. Sorry, this will be minus. This will be minus. Why it will be minus? Because in the previous class we have studied that if we take AC and will hinge the point C, this will move in clockwise direction. So I have taken it positive. And if I hinge the point, this point here, point C here, and will apply force at point B, this will move in anti-clockwise direction. So I have taken it as minus. So this one becomes 0. So ultimately you get that P into AC is equal to Q into BC, or we can say that moment of P about C is equal to moment of Q about C. So this is all about the resultant of two like parallel forces. Now I think all of you might have understood what today we have discussed. So if you have any further doubt, kindly see the video repeatedly, and if any question arises, then don't worry. MKD classes is coming with doubt session. So in near future you will have very good interaction with us, and we will continue our doubt sessions. So next, what are the key points? So the key points are, the Varignon's theorem states that the moment of resultant as sum of moment of forces, that we have already discussed. And Varignon's theorem, how it is applied? Varignon's theorem is applied to find the position of resultant of like and unlike parallel forces. So this thing we have discussed right now just here, that how to find the resultant using Varignon's theorem. Now we will see what are the important questions. So state and prove Varignon's theorem. This is very important question, and it comes almost in every semester exam. Second, what do you mean by like parallel forces? Yes, we have discussed it. What are like parallel forces? The forces which are acting parallelly and their direction is same are called like parallel forces. Similarly, find the resultant of two like parallel forces. This is very important concept we have discussed here, and definitely you will get a problem from this concept. How to find the point, how to find the resultant of like parallel forces. And the last one, how do you find the moment of a force graphically? This thing is also been covered, and this question it forms the base of Varignon's theorem. So it is very important. So again I am saying that MKD education is coming with doubt session classes, so don't be worried. If you are unable to understand, or if you are finding any difficulty, kindly see the video multiple number of times so that you will get a clear idea. Okay, thank you.